I think about it because I cannot believe someone has become so famous and rich from these types of paintings. And there's people out here slaving away doing hard ass work, but there's this guy who has millions, billions of dollars from squares of solid color. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a hot second. We're gonna keep going. Today's episode is about Roman Empire. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's something that became really trendy in 2022, 2023, where people started realizing that a lot of men think about the actual Roman Empire several times a week. And now it's a symbol for things that you think about more than the average person, things that live in your mind rent-free. You can equate it to having a song stuck in your head. And so anytime I'm not tattooing, anytime I'm not creating a podcast or thinking about YouTube, I am thinking about all of the things I'm about to bring up in this video. And so this is literally going to be a visual map of my brain. There's 8 categories that I wanted to share, and they are fashion, art, culture/society, architecture, home, people, nature, quotes, and miscellaneous. My room's all cozy. I haven't filmed on the side of my room before. I have a little candle here that I was hoping would help with the lighting, but it's doing absolutely nothing. But I'm going to acknowledge the fact that it's here so that you guys know I put some effort into lighting the space, which doesn't naturally have very good lighting. If you guys want to follow along, you can watch. You can also take a walk, start doing your chores, maybe grab a coffee, because I feel like that's the best way to enjoy a podcast. So let's get started with art, because this is the biggest category. I'm obviously a tattoo artist, so I see a lot of tattoo content on my page, and I'm really, really familiar with the different styles of tattoo and the different things that you can do. And I'm constantly impressed, but there are 2 parts of tattoo styles that really caught my attention. I'm obsessed with being able to transform a sense, touch, smell, hearing, etc., into a tattoo or a 2D illustration essentially. And so, for example, I have sound and touch as tattoos. And this tattoo artist I've been following for years now. She's based out of London. Her Instagram account is Yum Ink. And she essentially takes sound bits and turns them into sound visualizations, which turn into tattoos. And so things like the sound of rain, the sound of footsteps, music, the sound of somebody breathing can all be turned into visualizations. I think that's so sick. And I want one so bad. So when I go to London, I will be adding that to my sleeve. But we won't tell my dad that. Obviously, if you guys have been following my podcast, you guys know why we would not tell my dad that. The other one that I've been obsessed with is transforming touch into a tattoo. This man got kind of handprint of how his wife holds his hand. So there are stars at points where his wife's fingers touch his hand. Another thing that I am obsessed with in the tattoo/art world is creating different textures. And it's literally insane, the type of textures that you can put on your skin. And these are just made out of dots and lines, guys. It's actually insane. I'm shouting out just 3 tattoo artists: O.Timo, Studio.Charlie King, and Shame Ansha. The fact that you can create wispy, ethereal, it's almost paint-like on somebody's skin. Also, the pattern of fabric, almost like mesh on the skin, that is insane. That is beautiful. I don't know how, I think I know how she does it, but it's just really amazing that you can do this with tattooing. I am also obsessed with Nazar Bilik, and I know I butchered it. He's a Ukrainian artist. He's a sculptor. These 2 pieces of his in particular from 2010, Rain and Cut, are my Roman empires. I love the Rain piece. It's in this stunning blue. I'm obsessed with this blue. You guys know I'm obsessed with any kind of ivory indigo color. It is the color of my podcast, also the color of my tattoo brand. In Rain, it's a person whose head is shaved and they're looking up towards the sky, and there's a massive raindrop about the size of their face on their face. I just have a lot of respect for people who make things out of materials that are really hard to change. On the same train of thought, marble sculpting classes. So I found out from this random TikTok that you can, in this current day and age, take marble sculpting classes. I don't know why I thought that this was only an ancient thing. You can totally go to Europe right now and take a 2-week course and make a sculpture. And I'm not saying if I will do this, it's a matter of when I will do this. In the next few years, guys, I will be updating you guys that I took this class. The next area of art that I think about is the fact that over centuries across the entire world, there has been art pieces made of women being over men, like pissed off, sassy. Knowing that that is the case, and knowing that I have this strong, visceral emotion against trauma that comes with men and just like being a woman, it makes me feel very connected across time. Also in the art category, I think whenever bronze is used as a material, I am obsessed. I already love it. On the left-hand side, I have a ring. This is a ring I used to have. This whole story too is something I think about often. Basically, I had this ring and it's a rabbit ring. There's 3 rabbits that wrap around each other to create this ring. Like 2-3 years ago when I moved to New York, I met this guy on Hinge. I really liked him. And he was talking about rings with me, and I let him borrow this ring. But long story short, we ended up parting ways, and the last thing I wanted to do before we parted ways was obviously get my ring back. But he ghosted me, and I never, ever got this ring back. Also in the middle, there's this bronze clock that I saw at the Met. I wish I had taken a picture of the description plaque, but I didn't take a picture of it. But it's stunning. It's an etching of obviously the clock, but also angels and people and mountains and nature. It was so beautiful to see in person. And the last one is made by Bilik, the Ukrainian artist that I mentioned. This piece is called Source, and it's basically a cut up sphere, and there's a face within the sphere. This is beautiful. Like, something about the bronze is so pretty. I also just love how bronze ages, and I think that's why I'm obsessed with it. It's that it looks just as good brand new as it does older. Another piece I think about a lot is The Swan by Clint, but the first piece. So he's created several of these swan pieces, and they all belong in an entire collection of swan pieces. But my favorite is the first one, a canvas that's split in half in black and white, and then there's 2 swans that meet in the middle. It's very similar to yin yang in my head. His choice in color here and the texture, I think it's an oil piece. It is so good. Finally, Rothko. This is an artist who is known for creating the abstract, solid color blocks of like squares within a canvas. It's like a bunch of color palettes. It's very, very abstract. I've talked about this before. I'm not a big fan of really, really abstract paintings. I think the biggest thing about this is I think about it because I cannot believe someone has become so famous and rich from these types of paintings. And there's people out here slaving away doing hard ass work, but there's this guy who has millions, billions of dollars from squares of solid color. In true Annie fashion, oh my god, I have like a pepper stuck in my throat. I completely forgot a section of I completely forgot a section of the brain map, the Roman Empire map. I was literally uploading this video like 15 minutes ago, and then I was looking at it and I was like, I think something's missing. And yeah, it was a whole section. It was the culture and society section. I was supposed to leave for my tattoo studio like 5 minutes ago, and this video is supposed to be out 30 minutes from now, but obviously that's not happening. I'm going to try to do this whole section so quickly. And you guys are gonna bear with me, okay? There are microchips out there that were created in the 1970s and 80s. The creators of these microchips, they added these random images within the microchip. There's images of Bugs Bunny, a horse, a dragon breathing fire. They're super duper hard to find. The only way you can see them is if you use a really strong microscope. And I think that's so cool. Something about the rebellious act of it and the fact that they didn't know whether or not people would find it. I think that's so cute that they signed off their own microchip. The next two things are current events. The first is that Jerry from Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream brand, he resigned. If you guys didn't know, Ben & Jerry's is a very social impact forward brand. Even though they are an ice cream shop, they have a huge impact component. And even Ben in Ben & Jerry's, he risks his job and he speaks out about Gaza when people who have money and power actually don't take it for granted. Along the same lines, Jimmy Kimmel, he is a late night show host. I don't watch his show. I don't really care about his stuff too much, but I have so much respect for him because he spoke out about certain things that the president didn't agree on, and then it got his show taken away. And the fact that he risked his entire career. The next thing is super random, but basically there's an Instagram account. It's called openabuffet.daily. It's an Instagram account that posts the exact same reel every day. And I've seen this reel like 10 times, and every time I see it on my feed, I will never not click on it. It is so funny. I relate so much to the girl.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
Open a buffet.
What?
Open a buffet.
Open up a you got to know your hands are so gross.
A buffet.
They didn't give you any napkins?
All you can eat Chinese food.
It's the same reel being posted every single day, but the engagement levels and the view count is significantly different. And the only thing that you're changing in this case is the time and the day that it's being posted. And so it shows that the algorithm or whatever Instagram or the social media accounts are doing, I don't fully understand it. The value and the quality of the content is. And finally, I've talked about this before, but in early summer of this year, these two tourists sat on the Swarovski, like famous Vincent van Gogh sculpture. It's a chair that is inspired by his paintings, and it is very famous. It's very expensive, and these two tourists thought it was okay to sit on the chair so that they can get a cool picture with it, and it broke the chair. And after I saw that, I've never stopped thinking about it. And it's just one of those pieces of evidence that I will forever use to prove that I cannot have faith in the rest of humanity. Like, this is so embarrassing. It's these two adults. What made you think that was okay? Okay, next category is fashion. I am obsessed with Faye Wong. She is a performer and actor. She performed in Hong Kong in the late 1900s in this outfit. It's essentially this really cropped black t-shirt. It's very fluffy. Right over this t-shirt, she has a translucent dress and it cuts right at her boob. It kind of looks like a condom, but it's stunning. I don't know if I could pull off this, but I love this outfit. Whatever is going on here, I love it so much. The textures, colorways, I love that it's so simple. I'm also obsessed with this skirt I saw from Ellis, Elliss, and it's the dance skirt. And it's essentially a gray skirt where there's legs crossed over of a girl dancing. And I think something about the fact that you have your own legs underneath the skirt being parallel, but then the legs on the skirt are dancing. Something about that is poetic. And then I had my friend visit 2 weeks ago, and I was just walking in Soho in New York City, and I passed by this little boutique store called Maguire's, and they're known for their shoes. But what caught my eye was this suede brown tote bag purse, which is, not anything too special. But what was really special was this black flower that was clipped right on the strap of the purse. And I saw this combination and I was like, the leather with the suede and the brown with the black. And I was like, oh my gosh, I loved it so much that I took a picture of it and I walked in. I did more research and they have a whole collection of these shoe pins or shoe clips. They're made out of different fabrics, but I'm particularly obsessed with their black and brown leather flowers. I know they're shoe clips, but I love that they're putting them on purses. Okay, finally in the fashion category, I saw Anja. She's a YouTuber content creator, and she posted this outfit in April 2024. Ever since I saw this outfit last year in April, I have never stopped thinking about it. It is a pirate-inspired outfit because it's basically balloon pants. She wears white in this picture and she tucks them into her slim knee-high boots. This color combination, the silhouette, everything about it is so good. I don't know why I gravitated towards it so much that I was like, I will never forget about this, I guess. Next is architecture and home. I've thought a lot about the material, the texture of glass bricks. So glass bricks are essentially cube-shaped bricks, but they're made out of glass and they're not entirely translucent. My favorite thing about the texture is that when light shines through glass brick, it creates a wave-like texture. I also like that you still get kind of like a window look, but you still have privacy because you can't exactly see what's going on through glass brick. It's just very blurry. And I know homes don't naturally come with this. So if I were to have this in my home or whatever, I would have to custom integrate, custom build this. Next in this category, bistrot cutlery and utensils. The left photo is the Pinterest photo and the right is from my kitchen because I made this come to life. I've been thinking about this style of cutlery for a very long time. It is I think French, maybe Swedish, and it's essentially color blocked. It's just like one solid color. It's very minimal, but it has circles made out of metal. They're for just the handles, and everything else is sterling silver. Is that what it is? Not sterling silver. Stainless steel. And I found it in this random home goods boutique store in Brooklyn. I trekked all the way down there, like an hour away. And I bought black chopsticks. I am so happy I bought them. I'm so happy I spent my adult money on this. It was not cheap. It was $13 a pair. I will always love any building that is high ceiling, and especially if it is made out of stone or cement. If I had a coffee shop, if I have a home and I could build it any way that I want, I would do it in that way, where the floor, the ceiling, the walls are made out of stone or cement, and they would be extremely high. I saw this one home when my family was touring different houses because we moved. I still tell my mom about it. I literally dream about this home. I've had dreams where my friends and I lived in this home, which is crazy. And it was floor to ceiling cement. Imagine a cement kitchen. Oh my God. And finally, in the home and architecture category, in Amsterdam, which I have never been to, apparently because the apartments there are so old, they don't have elevators. And so to get furniture or just large items into different apartments, they have a pulley system on the outside of the building. And so essentially you have to pull your furniture, your couches, your TV, whatever, up from the bottom floor of the outside of your apartment all the way to the top with this pulley system, and then you feed it through the window. And something about this is so charming. The manual labor of it. Honestly, New York should do it too because it sucks carrying all your stuff 4 or 5 flights of stairs. Next category is people. It was just this random Sunday morning. It was so peaceful. And I was just walking across the street and I saw this dad and son, I'm assuming, scootering together. And it was so silly and cute. I was giggling, and it's so New York. I'm also obsessed with this content creator. I've talked about her before, but I'm seriously so obsessed with her because she has this very disciplined, regimented life. If I'm having like a rough day or like things are chaotic in my life, I know her life is not. She is still going to have a beautiful intentional breakfast that has a 3-drink minimum because that's her thing, and she will still be making cakes because that's her career, and she will still be going to the farmers market. She has a separate Instagram account called I Must Go to the Grocery Store. Something about her, she's so funny and so herself, unapologetic for being who she is. This is finally 2 more things in the people category. I think about this photo from Camila Karkova. I love her post. Whenever I'm looking for posing inspiration, she's my go-to, and in particular there's this one pose from this picture that she posts where she's underneath a door frame and the door's open and she's leaning her arm on the door frame and she's fixing her shoe. I have attempted, I think at least 5 or 6 times to get this picture on my Instagram. And finally, 2 weeks ago, I managed to get it right, and I'm so happy to have it. I haven't posted it yet, and this is not a plug, but I will post it soon, and you guys will know that it is not my idea. Most of my poses are not my ideas. There's only so much creativity that I have, and I'm using that for my tattoos, for my podcast, not so much my Instagram poses. And so, because that doesn't come as naturally to me, I get inspiration from other people, so I'm going to shout them out. And finally, on TikTok, I randomly came across this cover of I Believe to My Soul by Ray Charles, and it's by Velvet Ray Music on TikTok. I found this like a month ago, and for I think 2 weeks straight, I watched that TikTok twice a day. Like I would just wake up and I'd look for the video and I'd listen to it because her cover of it is so good. And when she says, "Oh Johnny," in the cover, I cannot.
Last night you were dreaming and I heard you say, "Oh Johnny," when you know my name is Ray, that's why I believe, babe. That's why I believe. I believe to my soul now. You're trying to make a fool out of me.
Next section is nature. I love sunflowers. I don't know if you guys knew this, but my favorite flowers are yellow face sunflowers, which are when the center is yellow instead of black/brown. But then I saw this post of petalless sunflowers. If someone gave me petal-less sunflowers, I would love them. But it's so pretty. I think I love everything about a sunflower. I love sunflower seeds. They're very nostalgic and special to me because every time I would go on a road trip with my dad, he always bought a bag of sunflower seeds and we would share them together and finish the bag throughout the entire trip. There's also teddy bear sunflowers, guys. I love those. I saw those for the first time, I think 2 years ago in New York. I posted it on my Instagram asking everybody what these sunflowers were because I've never seen them in my life, but they're basically extra fluffy, furry sunflowers. The other thing in the nature category is sun rays reflecting off on the water. Anytime I see sun reflecting like diamonds in the water, I always will take a video. I will always just be in awe. A month and a half ago, as you guys know, if you guys have been following the podcast and the Instagram, I landed in Korea and the first thing that I saw on Jeju Island was this cloud formation. I've never seen anything like it. It honestly looks like a tornado cut in half or a question mark. And I took so many pictures of it because I was like, what is this thing? And I can't get it out of my head. Next are quotes. I'm not going to explain them because I think the beauty of quotes is that you don't have to. They stand for themselves. But in the movie Sabrina, which I've never watched, Audrey Hepburn, she plays Sabrina in this movie and she's speaking to her father and her father says, "And you're still reaching for the moon." Sabrina says, "No, father, the moon's reaching for me." And I also think about this quote: "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness." Everyone says that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery part, but nobody likes to mention the second part because of the negative connotation, and obviously not, because mediocrity is the majority. All right, last and final section of the Roman Empire, the last section of my brain, miscellaneous. I have a whole podcast episode, if you guys, again, have been watching, about my wedding plans. I have no idea if I'm going to have a boyfriend in the near future. And no, I have no plans for a wedding in the near future. But I still have my wedding pretty planned out. And I've been thinking about two things in particular. One of the things I did mention in the video, but I still think about. So because I think about it so much, I was like, I have to put it in this video. I saw these deep maroon, I don't even know. It's like near black flowers, kaya lilies. Even though I love sunflowers, I don't want sunflowers for my wedding bouquet, but I want these. I think it would be so beautiful in front of a white dress. And you guys know from my last video about weddings, I saw these huge sheet cakes. So a sheet cake is essentially like maybe a 2 max 3-inch cake, one layer. It is extremely long or wide. You can have them in a square, in a circle, or a really, really long rectangle. And it's just ridiculous. The look of it is so silly that this is all I want for my wedding. This is why I want to have a wedding. It's just for this cake. I want to have an excuse to have a cake this large, to spend so much money to make a cake this large, and to have so many people to enjoy a cake this large. All right, finally, and this is perfect for the time of year, in the miscellaneous category, I have a Halloween costume that I saw on Pinterest. It is inspired by an art piece. I have never seen a Halloween costume inspired by famous art. And this one in particular is The Kiss by Clint. It's basically of a man kissing the cheek of a woman, and someone recreated it. A couple recreated it, and they did it so well. It is so elegant and cool and artsy. I wouldn't do it, I think, and I don't even have anyone to do it with, but I think it's very cool. It's really well done. That is what my brain is made out of, all those 8 categories. I hope you guys share and will share what you guys also have as Roman empires in your brain, because I would love to know what you guys can't get out of your head, and maybe it'll transfer to me. It's like when you get a song stuck in somebody else's head. But let's get into Hello Buffalo. Okay, I need to see if my roommate is coming in, because that's gonna mess up the audio. Okay, she's still in Brooklyn. Hello Buffalo, the good thing, which is the high, the bad thing, the low, and the buffalo, the weird thing that has happened. Okay, starting with the high, I've been taking sewing classes, and it's been so exciting. I've taken 5 classes now, and for my 5th and final class, I got super duper lucky, and this is why it's my high. They were training this seamstress to teach at the studio. Because they needed to train her, she needed to teach a private class, and they just happened to choose me as the student. And so I got a free private lesson. It was awesome. Like, I'm pretty sure it's way, way more expensive than the class that I pay for. And I just got it for free, and it was so fun. She was the most patient teacher ever. She was so sweet, and she was as excited as I was in making the top that I was making. But yeah, sewing has been really fun. It's my new hobby, and unfortunately, I realize I have very expensive hobbies. All the hobbies I keep wanting to try are just so inconvenient. Like the marble sculpting that I already brought up, like, are you freaking kidding me, guys? You know how expensive that shit is? I don't care though. I want to do it so bad. I'm going to do it. But normal people don't have hobbies like that. Normal people like take on knitting or reading. And I'm out here like, I need to fly to Italy and learn how to sculpt marble. It's ridiculous. Next is the low, the bad thing that has happened. And I have 2 things. So if you guys didn't know, the Met, it's a very famous museum in New York City. It's where Gossip Girl was filmed. They have a rooftop garden that is apparently closing until 2030. And the last day that you could see it was October 19th. I live not too far and I still have never seen it. And I tried. I think I attempted 4 or 5 times. The hours were really funny and they're not very clear on the website, so I didn't know when exactly I could visit it. But when I decided to visit, the line was insanely long and I couldn't make it to the top. So I guess I'll wait until 2030 to see it. The other low is I bought really nice, good quality jeans. They're indigo, but if you guys know jeans and really good quality denim, especially indigo, you guys will know that it bleeds. It stains everything. Like, not just when you're washing it, but if you touch it, it will stain your fingers. It will make your hands turn blue. I'm not even exaggerating. It's like my nails turn blue. It is so frustrating. Like, there's a huge maintenance component to it, which I kind of knew about, but I didn't expect it to be that much of a frustration and hassle. Basically, I did a vinegar soak for my pants. I soaked my pants overnight in vinegar and then had to do multiple washes of it to get the indigo out, just to have it stain my dryer, which I don't own because I'm renting my apartment. And so my dryer was stained blue and I had to wash my dryer several times. It took like literally 3 days to get these jeans in a semi-wearable state. I don't know if it's worth it, man. Like, the fact that I had to pay so much more money and the maintenance is insane. Like, maybe I should have just bought a bad quality pair of jeans. Maybe that would have been worth it. I don't think I'm cut out for that life. My buffalo, the weird thing that has happened. Okay, the weird thing that has happened. One of my friends visited and she stayed with me, and one of the things she really wanted to do while she was in the city was go to coffee shops. She's a big coffee shop hopper and she loves trying out new places and pastries. And my favorite coffee shop in New York City, you guys have seen me vlog in this coffee shop several times, is Stone Street Coffee. I will not stop raving about them. They grind their own coffee beans and I even had merch from them. I love their lattes, so good. Their pastries are also amazing. And most of all, the inside of their coffee shop is stunning. I mean, high ceiling, huge gallery wall pieces. It is beautiful. And you guys totally get it now because I talked about what I like in architecture and homes. So if you guys went there, you guys would have been like, yeah, she would have definitely loved this. And so I love that coffee shop. And of course, because she's here, I was like, I'm going to take you to my favorite coffee shop in Manhattan. I stayed there with her for like 3-4 hours. And when we left, I went on my Hinge and I got a message from this guy. And he was like, were you at Stone Street Coffee? And I was like, what the fuck? It's so hard to run into anybody, like, period. In New York City, it's so dense. And you could be literally, even if you live in the same area as somebody, like maybe 1 block away, it's still really difficult to run into them because you have to be in the same place at the exact same time and you have to notice each other. You are in a very densely populated area, so it's really easy to just overlook everybody and not see anyone you pass by, especially when everyone's on their phones and, you know, distracted. But he noticed me. And then I remember thinking to myself, who is this guy? Like, did I notice him? And so I was like tracing back my memory and I was like trying to imagine myself in the room in this like simulation. And I was like, where did I see him? Where did I see him? And then I realized he was the guy that took my order. He was the cashier. I mean, I thought he was cute. And I also thought he was really tall, but I didn't think anything of it. But he told me later, because we did meet up, he wasn't sure if it was me. And that's why he kept looking at me. And I also recognized he kept looking at me, but I thought it was because I kept taking pictures of the inside of the cafe. But it wasn't because of that. He kept looking at me because he was trying to figure out if it was me. And then it was more confirmed when he asked me what my name was for the coffee. And I said Annie. And he was like, oh. And he put 2 and 2 together and he was like, it probably is her. And that was crazy. Very, very hard for that to happen. But it was kind of cool and random. And yeah, so that's my buffalo. And that concludes this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will be in Los Angeles when I film my next episode. And I will see you guys then. Bye.